Okay, we are doing a video on whole eggs. In the Primal Diet, in the book We Want to Live, Ajna specifically states why it's beneficial to eat the whole egg, problems you get when you don't eat the whole egg, when you're eating just the yolk or just the white. And I'm going to do a video on that because I haven't seen anybody do a video on that. I've got some quotes from Ajna, and we're just going to walk through them really quick. If you're interested, this is what I'm eating tonight. Scallops, beef, chicken from the herd share with sour cream, and I got my hot honey. You can check out my hot honey recipe here. That's how I do that. And then I got some oysters, some Blue Point oysters, nice big meaty oysters. Looking forward to that, watching the UFC fight tonight. Probably be doing some commentary, live streaming, hanging out. Okay, so why Ajna said to eat the whole raw egg. The yolk and the white work with synergy, balancing fats and proteins. Raw eggs obviously protects the enzymes, right? We're not cooking our eggs. We're not cooking the whites, okay? We're eating the whole egg raw. It supports detox. So a lot of people complain about eating the egg whites, and it's probably because maybe they don't get the best quality eggs, or because the eggs might be cold, or, you know, there could be a lot of other reasons for those symptoms. But I believe the egg whites might be detoxifying in some cases. And eating the whole egg avoids imbalances in the body. Okay, where's my cursor? There we go. So, the nutrient balance. Yolks, fats and vitamins. The white, proteins, and raw, we're keeping them raw. You get the enzymes. We're not cooking the whites because of Avidin or whatever. We're keeping them raw. Okay, so you get enzymes in the yolks and the whites. In all the raw food, there's enzymes. We keep them raw. We keep the enzymes. Detox and rebuilding. The yolks, the fats, nourishing. And the whites help cleanse and transport the fats. So the proteins and the fats work synergistically, right? So that's the point there. By eating them both together, you're avoiding imbalances. Only yolks increases hunger and irritability. The whites is going to strain the protein digestion because you're overloading your body with protein without getting yolks in, without getting the fat in. And eating the whole eggs promotes the stability of the body. So that's just a summary of the quotes. And now we're going to go through the quotes. Exactly, verbatim, from We Want to Live. When consuming large quantities of eggs, there is a need for vegetable iron. Now, this is a little extra. It's not necessarily about the whole eggs, but if you are eating a lot of eggs, you're going to want to pay attention to this. Therefore, it is necessary to eat deep leafy greens, for example, spinach or parsley, or purple, for example, red cabbage vegetables, or 4 ounces of their juice once weekly. Interesting, we see here, eat deep leafy greens, or purple vegetables, or 4 ounces of their juice once weekly. So here, this is an interesting distinction because normally Ajna says don't eat the vegetables, but here he's telling us to eat the vegetables. But we can also juice them, which is even probably better. But some people need salads. Last meal of the day, it's okay. Couple times a week, 2 times a week maybe not more than 3. But anyway, interesting. I even forgot this. So that's why I say to read the book once a year, because you forget things. I was under the impression it was just deep leafy greens. I read this, it kind of blew my mind, because I was reading something else about needing, iron for something, and I just zoomed in on deep leafy greens. I totally forgot about purple cabbage. I didn't even see that. So when something pops out at you in the book, you might tend to just forget stuff that comes after it. So that's why it's good to read the book once a year. It is believed that large quantities of whole raw eggs should not be eaten because avidin, an amino acid in egg white, binds with biotin, part of the B vitamin complex, in the body, causing side effects. The avidin-biotin bond is beneficial because it helps to dissolve biocarbons. It helps muscles retain carbohydrates. So this is why I talked about enzymes earlier and, cooking, why we keep things raw. So people say, oh, well, you have to cook the egg whites because it destroys the avidin. It makes them safe to eat. Well, not really. And some people say, oh, well, I just eat the yolks because the egg whites give me symptoms. The symptoms are part of a cleansing process. It could also be that your eggs aren't just that good of a quality. If you're having symptoms with the eggs, things I would suggest are eating the eggs with cheese, eating them with maybe a little butter, eating small amounts of the egg at a time, mixing the eggs, and then eating them slowly. So all these things you can do to increase the digestibility of eggs. Honey, eat a little eggs with honey. You could even water them down a little bit with some quality water and honey and sip on that instead of just trying to slunk a whole egg. Not something I've had problems with personally. I did notice that when I switched egg sources that my indigestion fell off a cliff. But it could also be that I was spamming cheese for like 3-4 years. So I don't know for sure, but something to think about. But again, if you're having some of these symptoms, it can be part of a cleansing process. It shouldn't be something you're going to run away from. But to go back here, this comes from a study, right? And a lot of people, even Sally Fallon, but a lot of this comes from the primal wing, the Goddess primal wing, the spherage primal wing, the spherage soldiers. Okay, they, ironically enough, the most retroductive, redundant, naturalist, eating philosophy. That's not really what it is, but they pine on nature and natural and eating like our ancestors, but they're going to bring up a lab study done in the 20th century about how Avidin binds to B vitamins, and then they're not even reading the study, they're not even understanding the study, they're just parroting what somebody else said because they don't have any scientific literacy or critical thinking. They saw in the conclusion that, Avidin, we found Avidin binds to egg whites in this lab experiment. Or the Avidin in egg whites binds to biotin in this experiment. But the experiment has nothing to do with humans. It has nothing to do with human digestion, right? Nothing. Go read the study. It's a bunk study. And, people run with this stuff like it's actual fact. It's not true. It's good to question things. It's good to replicate experiments to find the truth. That's what science is. It's unscientific to do that. So I find it a little funny that the, Mr. Nature is going to believe in man-made studies done in a man-made lab to inform his ancestral, natural way of eating. Doesn't make any sense. In nature, okay, if humans were really hunter-gatherers, which I don't really think that was the case, at least at first, maybe it's a survival mechanism, but I digress. You would need as many nutrients as possible to survive in the wild, right? So you're not gonna crack the egg and waste time to filter out the egg whites. No, you're gonna eat the whole egg. You're gonna suck it down. That's just a fact. So no, they weren't avoiding Avidin and egg whites, however many years ago that was. Just saying. Whole raw eggs contain a wonderful natural balance of nutrients, including bioavailable lutein. I hope I'm saying that right. An antioxidant that is an important carotenoid for eye and skin health. A note on antioxidants, not something you want to overdo on the diet. Your body needs to oxidize fat to use it. Consuming too many antioxidants is going to prevent your body from doing that and functioning properly. So, if you're having problems, consider how many antioxidants are you consuming, and is that getting in the way of your body utilizing the fats you are consuming? Just some food for thought. Pun intended. In my experience with animals, including humans who only ate the yolk and not the white, along with other foods on a raw diet, metabolism was considerably increased, usually without increasing energy. The side effects were that often hunger increased to a frenzy and dispositions tended to be irritable. It has been my experience in every case and condition that eating the whole raw egg was more nourishing and better for metabolic and emotional balance. So, what did we learn? We learned that eating the whole eggs is a good thing, and we should do it. This is the Primal Diet. I eat the Primal Diet. I eat the whole eggs. I've been doing it for 8 years next month, and no problems, never any problems. I'd eat over 4,000 raw eggs a year, no problems. Not deficient in anything. So, the next time somebody talks about that, send them this video or ask them a question. Hey, well, where are you getting that from? What do you mean there's Avidin? Show me the proof. And they're going to send you some man-made study. They're going to send you some stupid study. And then ask them, what does the methodology say? What are you talking about? And then you're going to force them to actually read. And maybe they'll just see how wrong they are. Or maybe not. Some people are just beyond helping. Anyway, that's the video. Eat your whole raw eggs.